We saw the play at the top, Chris. That's where the focus needs to start. We're going to just kind of ricochet all through whatever happens to come up. But the Joseph Ossai late hit on Patrick Mahomes, we'll take another look at it. I feel so bad for the kid. And this is a play we've seen time and again where quarterback becomes runner and in theory loses all protections. But we know how it goes. Running back gets hit a step onto the stripe. You may not see the flag come out, in part because the running back doesn't go down like that. What do you do if you're Joseph Ossai? You got to be aware of the edge. I get it, but you're also aware of the fact that Patrick Mahomes, if you don't make sure he's out, and if you pull up at all, he's going to cut up field. We've seen that time and again. It's a tough spot. It's a rock and a hard place for Joseph Ossai, and it's all happening in full speed, and he's 22 years old, and I'm just heartbroken for the kid. Chris, you've talked in the past how you still think about your playoff loss in 2005 in the wild card round to Washington. You still think about it today, 17 years later.
Yeah.
Joseph Ossai is never going to exercise that demon. It is going to be with him for the rest of his life, and I just feel horrible for this kid, and he's a kid. The older we get, and I'm putting you in that bucket too, old man, the younger these guys seem, and 22 is just barely out of college, barely into adulthood, and he's got to deal with this. And I feel bad for him because he's in a tough spot. And as Mike McDaniel said this year, and this is one of the reasons why he's a great coach, he doesn't get mad at his players when they make a mistake because it's not like they're trying to. It's not like they're sabotaging the team.
Right.
They're out there doing their best.
Right.
Shit happens.
It does.
It's a mistake. So
that's right. It's not a perfect sport. And like you said, it's controlled chaos. It's grown men playing with emotions, trying their hardest. I mean, digging it out, trying to chase Patrick Mahomes to the edge there, right? I mean, he's given all he's got, so you're not going to be mad at him for that, you know? And again, you're not going to be mad at him altogether other than the fact that, listen, it's a quarterback, right? You know how the league is this day and age, 2022 football. That's where it's a shame, too. He's a smart player. He's a good player. He knows better. That's where he's going to be more annoyed than anything. Yeah, he'll be able to live with, hey, I was playing hard and doing all that. But he knows in this age of overprotection of quarterback and player safety, and, hey, yeah, did Mahomes sell it a little bit? Sure. But he's smart enough to know that and look at that and go, wait, that's Patrick Mahomes. He's heading out of bounds. And I don't need to even make contact and make this dicey. That's where it stinks. It's a play that I don't think he even does. Or he pumps the brakes, 99 out of 100 times. Unfortunately, it was in a big moment in the AFC Championship game. But I was not shocked. Again, it wasn't egregious, but he was clearly, what, Mike, 2 feet out of bounds. Foot was out of bounds clearly. He's the star of the league. You put your elbow in the back of the guy's chest. I don't care how hard it is. If the look doesn't look right, the flag is coming out. And that's where he knows better. And I'm with you, Mike. It's brutal, and I feel for him. I really do. But I thought that was pretty obvious, and you got to call that in that moment right there, at least with the way to be consistent with what we've seen throughout the year with calls like that.
Yeah, it wasn't an egregious hit.
No, it wasn't.
But when you're hitting a guy who is not as thick, not as sturdy as a running back, he's more likely to go down, especially when he's got a bad ankle. And he did sell it on the back end.
Doubt
and that's fine.
No doubt. Right.
That's fine.
Right.
It wasn't a FIFA-style flop, but if you watch, Mahomes throws his arms out as he's
sure
going
his
down.
neck goes back a little. Right. He gave it all.
Right.
Right.
And they end up in the bench. There was some person that got stuck between Joseph Ossai and Patrick Mahomes, and I hope that person's okay today because that was my first thought. Oh, my God, somebody got really injured there. Whoa, slammed into the bench.
No, and I was worried about
his knee.
Oh, his right leg here. Watch his right leg. It buckles right there. Ooh, it was bad. I was concerned for him. But, Mike.
I mean, look, Mahomes was going down no matter what. But throwing your arms out and throwing the ball and rolling around, like that, hey, that's part of the salesmanship.
That's right.
And any smart quarterback would have done that. And the other thing, though, is, Chris, any smart quarterback, if he senses Joseph Ossai pulling up, is going to potentially keep going. We've seen that before. Now, there was another Bengal there. Eli Apple was there ready to stop him. But I just, what are you're committed, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's that white stripe. And I know he was a step over it. It's just, how do you have that awareness, the presence of mind in that moment, season on the line? It's just sad. It's a shame.
Yeah,
and
it stinks. It stinks to come to that.
Sometimes it's just nobody's fault.
Well,
sometimes shit happens.
We wanted to see maybe a little more drama to end the football game, not the game to end that way. I think that's the other thing that kind of feels buzzkill about it. You don't feel like, wait, I didn't get to see like Mahomes make magic or Burrow do something here to bring them back. Damn, he knows better than that. That the game's going to end that way. That's kind of how it ended. It was, if you're a Chiefs fan, it's, woo, yes, awesome. Bengals fan, oh, my gosh, I can't believe we did that. I can't believe they called that. I think that's called on any star player, though, in the NFL, not even the quarterback. I think if it's Justin Jefferson or anybody like that in that moment right there, that's one, again, I think, again, I feel for Joseph Ossai, but he knows better in that situation, and it was a little bit anticlimactic how it finished that way. But regardless, the game itself was not. The game was great and had a lot of ebbs and flows and little storylines within the storylines, and that's what I enjoyed. And like you said to start the show, it looks like we got two teams here who got great belief. They got generals that got great belief, and they're going to be in a lot of games just like this. And it's the Chiefs finally got one.
Before we go through some of the ebbs and flows and the moments that made the game so damn entertaining, here's some audio of Bengals linebacker Jermaine Pratt going into the locker room after the game, clearly upset with what Joseph Ossai did, followed by Joseph Ossai talking about that penalty with teammate B.J. Hill there to give him the support that Ossai needed last night and is going to need going forward.
Oh, not good! This is my last year! Why the you cut the quarterback?
Dumb question. Come on. He played his butt off the whole game. Ask a different question.
Things are happening so fast there, obviously. Did you have any idea you were at that sideline there? I mean, obviously you're in full chase and,
Yeah, I was just in full chase mode, and I was trying to push him to maybe get him going backwards, because I knew he was going for that sideline. I was trying to make him go backwards, get that clock running, but I didn't know. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't know how far out of bounds we were, but yeah.
How hard is that to kind of not put all that weight on you as you go through this? I mean, it's just...
It's extremely hard,
what?
Man.
Come on, man.
I'm sure it's tough. That's why I asked him about it.
That's a brilliant question, bro. Come on.
The support you're getting, is that a sign of kind of the culture that feeds this team?
For sure, absolutely. We're one big family. It's not fake, when the going gets tough, start pointing fingers, we lift each other up, and I'm just happy I got these group of guys around me supporting me right now, because it's hard.
That was B.J. Hill, not Jermaine Pratt.
That was amazing there.
Joseph Ossai. B.J. Hill there to have his teammates back. Jermaine Pratt on the way in with the very candid F-bombs and the mother F-bomb. And
he's saying what a lot of fans are saying.
I'm clearing out.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of fans are saying like kind of what we're saying, Mike. Like, you know better. Like, damn, it's the quarterback. It's Patrick Mahomes, right? He's a yard out of bounds. Of course they're going to call that. And, it's rare to hear them say that as they walk in the locker room. And, of course, Joseph Ossai's probably hearing that as well. And that just, adds to the feeling horrible part of being an athlete there. Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's fine. And Pratt took to social media in the aftermath of the uproar that emerged late last night when that video came to light. He said, "People will post anything on social media for likes and views. I have real feelings. Sometimes they are raw. If you love something as much as I do, sometimes things will be said in the heat of the moment,
That's
but
right.
I know what type of teammate I am and what type of man I am. Trust me, no love lost. I'm hurt. Remember, some people will hate you, rate you, and shake you, and try to break you, but I will stand tall like always." Now, look, Jermaine, people didn't post that for likes and views. People posted it because it was compelling. And cameras and microphones are everywhere when you're playing the NFL. So, yeah, you're going to have raw emotions, and I get it, and I appreciate the context, but that doesn't make it something that shouldn't have been shared with the world. It just shows everyone what the Bengals are currently processing. We've seen teams suffer devastating losses before, and how they move forward from that devastating loss, whether it's Super Bowl 49 with the Seahawks and the run/pass conundrum that took years for them to get over.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 51, the 28-3 loss, or the 28-3 lead blown by the Falcons. Like, it's going to take time. And the Bengals need to mobilize and make sure that anyone that's got a problem with it, that's job number one today. Anyone's got a problem with it, we got to talk this through, and we got to recognize this guy's not out here trying to blow the season. This guy's not trying to sabotage us. This guy's not trying to keep us from advancing to the Super Bowl. He's just out there doing his best against the best quarterback in the league, who reestablished he is indeed the best quarterback in the league, because even with that sprained ankle, he was still spectacular last night.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, Mike, you're saying all the right things. And I don't worry about the Bengals bouncing back from this. I don't know what's more crushing, this or having a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl last year. Look what they got back to, right? We saw two teams last night that have incredible, you know, mental toughness and fortitude and just stubborn, and we don't lose, and damn, we got knocked off the perch last year and we're coming back. That's what was amazing about the game. Let alone there was moments in the game where you went, ooh, whoa, man, Kansas City's got all the momentum. Oh, man, whoa, Cincinnati got it back. Oh, man, Kansas City seems like they're hanging on. I mean, it just had a little everything that way. And, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and I feel for Joseph Ossai. Way to go with B.J. Hill there. I mean, damn, I wish I could have B.J. Hill next to me every time I had to answer tough questions. But that's the other thing. Sometimes position players, you know, they don't get to experience that a lot, right? The quarterback's usually the guy who makes the game-losing play, interception, gets strip sack, fumble, do that. That's new to a guy that's outside linebacker, D-end. I lost the game because of one play. That's new territory, and I think that's why it's probably a little harder for him to take as compared to maybe a running back who's fumbled at the end of the game before, or a quarterback who's thrown an interception. You know, that's where it's new territory emotionally for Joseph Ossai, and I feel for him. But, you know, again, we hit that part. Let's hit the game now whenever you're ready, at least.
Well, I got one more thing,
cool.
Chris.
All right.
One more thing. And, I don't want to trigger you, and I don't want this segment to be completely consumed by your reaction to something else from that last play. Something else from that key play that ended with the Joseph Ossai hit out of bounds,
right,
that should have wiped the play out and should have been a real do-over. Not the phony-ass do-over that happened earlier in the fourth quarter that we'll talk about later, which still makes no sense to me this morning. There should have been offsetting fouls on the play that put the Chiefs in field goal range. Let's watch it again from the start, and let's watch the left tackle, Orlando Brown Jr. of the Kansas City Chiefs, what he did to Trey Hendrickson. Look at that. Oh, is that Donovan Smith playing for the Chiefs? Up around the neck with the arm bar right there. Obvious. They called that earlier on the Bengals, the up around the neck as the guy's trying to get to the quarterback.
I don't think it was even close to Donovan Smith territory, Mike. I don't even.
Well, right.
You know, he had two hands like here, you know, and he's just running into him.
You got the arm around the neck, and the guy. And anytime you see the defensive end go back like that, impaired and impeded at the neck, but the point is, they miss those all the time. And whether it's incompetence, I think at a certain level, just like all the missed false starts, it crosses over into your theory. The offensive linemen are overwhelmed by the defensive linemen, so they're getting some help. It goes back to we have to keep the quarterbacks healthy. That's why we throw the roughing the passer penalties all the time. We have to give the offense an edge and not calling holding when it happens and you see it. And we've seen it over and over again. That's why Joey Bosa blew a gasket 16 days ago after the Jaguars-Chargers playoff game.
Yeah,
they're not calling the false starts. They're not calling the holds. But that was an arm up around the neck. And I know I mentioned Donovan Smith for effect, but that's still a hold that should have been called.
I don't agree with you there. Trey Hendrickson doesn't even think he got held. He's not even worried about it. I do not agree.
He got held.
And again,
Trey Hendrickson doesn't want to get fined like Joey Bosa did.
No, Mike, come on. You got a theory for every theory. Stop. It was not. It was perfect pass protection. His hands were right in there. And yeah, listen, it's a shame.
I am stunned.
I am.
Stunned.
That to me was not. That's not passing. That's
Social media disagrees with you, as do I. He held him, and it should have been called.
Okay, all right. But either way, listen, there's a problem there in refereeing in these kind of games in general anyways. That's right. I mean, it's not as consistent as what we've seen for the regular season. goes, pass interference doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it's all of a sudden it's gone. It ran the league for 18 weeks. It's not even part of the game now. The most important games of the year, it's not even a part of it. And again, yeah, I mean, listen, if it got called holding there, I'm going to go, oh, okay, wow, that's ticky-tack in that moment. That's what I would have said. I did not look at it like anything near. I mean, Donovan Smith was like borderline manslaughter every play. It was bear hugging. He had his hands inside the guy there. And again, the other thing, too, is, Mike, I'm just over it because we can go back in the game and I can show you, like, to your point, like 8 plays where I go, well, Chris Jones is being held here. Like, he broke through the line of scrimmage. So, like, I've given up trying to, like, even police that anymore.
I hear
you.
So
frustrating. You know what I mean?
I hear you. But you talk about consistency, and there was a flag thrown on the Bengals for a similar move where a guy broke free up the middle, and it wiped out a big gain. And I think that's the thing that's got the Bengals fans most upset. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.